Hello, Walking Dead fanboys and fangirls. I'm here to review The Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 4, titled Slabtown. For more Walking Dead videos, please feel free to subscribe right here for more Walking Dead related videos. Now, let's get started with my Walking Dead review. Now, when Dr. Edward was talking to Beth on top of the hospital roof, he was telling Beth on how Atlanta had got bombed. Now, there is a backstory on how Atlanta had got bombed. Because if you remember in The Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 5, in the beginning of the episode, there was a flashback scene. And you see Lori, you see Shane, and you see Carl, and you see Carol, you see Sophia, and you see Ed. And they're all outside of the outskirts of Atlanta, and it's nighttime. But Shane ends up seeing some jets in the air in the middle of the night. So Shane and Lori goes off into the woods, and they look at Atlanta, the city, from a distance. And you can see how the jets ends up flying over Atlanta, over the city, and they end up dropping napalm bombs in the city, destroying anything that's still left in the city that carries the virus, meaning zombies. And I remember when Shane was talking in that scene, and he confirmed it. He said that they are dropping napalm bombs in the city. So that confirms that the events that's going on right now with the hospital and all the buildings around that hospital that look destroyed is the same events, or it's tied to the same events that happened in The Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 5. It's all connected. When the Jets had destroyed the city in The Walking Dead Season 5, Season 2, Episode 5, that was the same city that we saw in this episode when they had used those napalm bombs. Or those napalm bombs. And also, to confirm that theory, it's not even a theory, it's a fact. I remember when Dr. Edward was talking to Beth again, and he tells her that he ends up saving a victim that had got caught in the explosion when the bombs had hit, and it had caused a big gulf of flames to rise. One of the victims got burnt up in the flames or in the explosion. And I remember Edward, he tells Beth that I told Dunn, if you let me save this man, you can have him. Pretty much, he can stay at the hospital and he can work for you and do everything that you need done. Just like she had Noah doing. And then he said Dunn agreed to it, but he never mentioned what happened to that victim, because he said the victim was badly burnt, so he saved him. Also, the special effects in this episode was amazing, especially when it came to the big tall buildings in Atlanta. When you look at the buildings, those buildings look like they're completely destroyed. I mean, literally. You can look at the buildings and you see burn marks or ash burn marks on the side of the buildings from when the Jets had dropped the napalm bombs and had destroyed the city. So when they dropped the bombs, the flames engulfed and they raised up on the buildings, therefore burning some of the side of the buildings. You can still see those burn marks on the side of the building. Man, the special effects people did a awesome job making that city look dead. I mean, the city looked completely dead. It looked like there's no human population in it. Man, great job, special effects, the crew that does for The Walking Dead. Great job. Also, man, I want to talk about some of the little this might be some nitpicking that I might complain about, but here goes. I had a problem with this episode because from a writing standpoint, it was pretty bad. Okay, when we see Beth wake up in the hospital, this happens right after she gets kidnapped from Daryl in The Walking Dead Season 4. So why when Beth wakes up, she has a fractured wrist? Why didn't the writers write a script to have Emily Clark go in detail and ask Dunn and Edward about how I got this fractured wrist. I didn't have a fractured wrist before you took me. How I got this cut in my face. I didn't have a cut in my face before you took me. Why didn't they have her ask none of that? I'm talking about from a writing standpoint because that was pretty inconsistent. And also another inconsistent flaw that I saw in that scene is we know for a fact in The Walking Dead season 4, Beth had hurt her ankle. She had got her ankle caught in an animal trap. And it was so bad until Daryl was picking Beth up and walking her around the house. So how is it now that she's just walking normal now? Because in The Walking Dead season 2, when Shane had twisted his ankle when he was with Otis, 2 episodes later, we still saw Shane limping. But Beth hurt her ankle that day. Next day she wakes up, she's not limping. But all of a sudden she got a fractured wrist. So I might be nitpicking, but from a writing standpoint, that was a little off. Also, something else that I want to nitpick on a little bit was the scene with Noah and Beth in it when they was running through the elevator. Man, when I seen that scene, I was like, oh my God, it was dark, it was scary. I was like, there go the horror factor of The Walking Dead. There it go right there. I mean, these people was actually surviving, like trying to struggle to survive in that dark 3rd floor in the hospital. It was dark. They had flashlights and it was scary. But what really got me with that scene was the fact that Beth was getting all headshots. And it's like every time Noah hit the flashlight, boom, boom, boom. Every time he put the flashlight on a zombie, headshot, 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 headshot. I'm like, you can at least make it, feel a little suspense, horror suspense right there. I mean, all headshots. That's when the mood kind of started killing it for me, because I felt that horror mood, that horror mode coming in when I saw him in the night with those zombies at that 3rd floor in that hospital. I feel like they was really trying to struggle to survive. But those headshots was just wow. Also, I would like to add this. The actress who portrays Dawn, the female police officer, portrays that role very good, because if you look at Dawn and you look at her characterization, you can tell that deep inside she's a woman and she knows she's a woman. But everything what makes a woman, she chooses to bury it. Like emotions and stuff, she chooses to bury it, because being a woman, you often get tested in terms of the leadership, because Dawn is the leader of that group, and she's the first female leader that we have seen in the Walking Dead TV series. So being a woman, she feels that she will get questioned about her leadership a lot, because she's a woman. And secondly, the most important thing, she feels like, I have something to prove. I'm a woman, so I have to prove it to these dominant men that I'm around. That's the reason why she's so dominant, and that's the reason why she is what she is. And the actress who portrays her did a phenomenal job portraying that role, making that woman seem hard as a brick. I mean, the eye contact, the emotions that she did with Beth. Man, the actress did a phenomenal job. The actress who plays her, great job. Also, it's been confirmed that Officer Dunn does indeed suffer from obsessive compulsive disorder. Now, if you don't know what some of that is, anxiety disorder, people who have unwanted and repeated thoughts, is all type of stuff. Go look it up yourself if you want to. But when I was looking at her character, I could tell that she definitely suffers from that type of disorder, or that's what she's been diagnosed with. Now, when Dr. Edward was talking to Beth on the roof again, he was giving Beth the backstory of Officer Dan backstory. And he tells her that Dan was once with a police unit, and she had somebody over her in that unit. His name was Hanson, Officer Hanson. You see a picture of Officer Hanson and Officer Dunn in the hospital, sitting on top of a file cabinet. You see the picture right there. Now, to make the clear stuff up, once the zombie apocalypse had happened, once the bombing had happened in Atlanta, Officer Hanson, he ends up losing his mind. So therefore, when it happened to him, he ended up getting some of the people killed that was following him. So Officer Dan, she decides to kill him. She ends up killing her superior officer that's over her, and she ends up taking the people that he had and end up saving their life and end up saving them what could have possibly caused them to die when they was running with Officer Hanson, because they say Officer Hanson became reckless and he didn't think before he did anything. So therefore he got other people killed in his actions of what he was doing. And you can tell that Officer Hanson until that day still hunts her, because when she was talking to Beth after Beth tried to escape and they end up catching Beth, she was talking to Beth in the office, and Beth was telling her about the story how Garmin tried to rape her and tried to fool with her, and when Beth was talking to her, Beth tells her that nothing is going to happen. She started telling her, ain't nobody coming here to get us. Nothing is going to happen. And you can see how that disorder or how that obsessive compulsive disorder really messes with Officer Dan, because she looks at the picture of Officer Hanson, and when she looks at it, you know she gets very angry. Then she hits Beth. Therefore, when Beth was talking to her, the tone that was coming out of Beth's mouth reminded her of the stuff that Officer Hanson was telling her. So I'm going to predict that he was a realist and he knew the situation he was in. He knew there was no government, there wasn't no army, and he was always telling Officer Dunn this, but she never listened. She refused to hear the truth. And when Beth was telling her that, she got angry and she hit Beth. She even hit Beth prior to that when they was in a room trying to save Dr. Stevens, old college partner. I'm not gonna say it's his partner, but Dr. Stevens definitely say he knew that guy from college. That guy used to go to his college. Also, him and that guy studied the same thing. It was medicine and to become a doctor. And Dr. Stevens felt threatened by him because they knew about the same thing. They both was a doctor. And he knew if that guy would have survived, he could have easily end up being replaced by that guy, because like I said, he was a doctor. So he had Beth pretty much set up and had Beth kill that guy on accident, so he wouldn't have to do it. But at the same time, it benefit him. So now they don't have to look for another doctor. They still got him. And that make me wonder what Dr. Stevens was doing for them to possibly want to get rid of him. At this point, we know they want to get rid of him, but they can't because he's the only doctor they have. But I think soon as they find another doctor that can do exactly what he do, they're going to get rid of him. So maybe he was questioning their motives all the time, because we did see him questioning Officer Garmin when he was trying to mess with Beth. He was taking up for Beth. Maybe it was that, or maybe they just don't trust him, but they keeping him there because he's the only doctor that they have. But as soon as they find another one, he did say if they wasn't find another doctor, they was going to either kick him out the hospital, or Officer Garmin was going to kill him, take him outside and kill him. That's why he was scared. And he also tried to compare his situation to the Jesus Christ situation, when Jesus Christ was on the picture, that the painting that we saw, and said that when Jesus got captured, his disciples that used to run with him denied being his disciples because they ain't want to get crucified. So he denied it. So he tried to put his situation to God's situation, meaning that survival of the fittest, do whatever it takes to survive. Also, Officer Garmin, he deserved what he got because he mentally and he physically, he broke that girl. That girl, and they didn't explain this in the episode, But when that girl got bitten on her hand, she actually tried to escape the hospital. That's how she got bit. Did nobody mention that though? She got bit trying to escape. But once she got captured and she got her arm amputated, she survived. But you would notice after she had that encounter with Officer Garmin again, she ends up committing suicide because she feel like if I can't escape, I have to leave this world. I have to find some way to get up out of here. So my next route is suicide. Like I said, he mentally and he physically broke her. He raped her on multiple occasions and he abused her. He beat her. And when she was laying on that ground dead in his office, she had written something on the floor, and that word said, or those words said on that floor next to her dead body, fuck you. And she had a pair of scissors by her head. She committed suicide. And Beth almost went down that road when that episode was ended. The only thing that saved Beth was when Carol came up. Beth was about to go, she was about to go kill Dr. Stevens, and Beth knew in the back of her head that she could die because she knew she still had Officer Dunn there, and she still had another officer there with an unknown name. We don't know his name, but she knew the possibilities of her dying could happen. But she was about to go kill Dr. Stevens anyway, until she saw Carol. So now she has a reason to stand up to get Carol out. And also remember the concept, risking your life for the greater good. This episode showed how brave Beth was, because when Noah had escaped, you can see them holding Beth down. The police officers holding Beth down, and she's smiling while Noah's going through the gate, pretty much implying that she did risk her life for the greater good. She risked her life, even though she still lived. She risked her life to save Noah, and she was smiling about it. She was happy because she did what she set out to accomplish. Long as one person escaped out of them two, she was fine with it, and I love that scene. Now we have Officer Dunn. Now she's talking about everything that goes on in that hospital is for the greater good. She knew about Garmin raping that girl. She knew about all of that, but she chose to ignore it because she needed them to be on her side. She knew, and she knew it's wrong, but she chose to ignore it, and that's fucked up. But she chose to ignore it. She knew about the rape. She knew about all of that. But like she says, everything we do is for the greater good. So if that girl's getting raped, it's for the greater good. To keep Officer Garmin here with me is for the greater good. So yeah. And when Noah and Bill tried to escape, that was crazy. I already mentioned that. So hope you guys enjoyed my review. Remember to drop me a like on this video if you enjoyed it. And also, please share the video because it helps the video get around and stuff. And it helps me out too. So everybody, I have a blessed day and peace.